can you guys attribute to the second half struggles you guys have had the last two games?
Just doing simple better, not doing that, just, it's easy to, on the outside to analyze how it's happening, halves are different, but, to us, it's just executing one play at a time, not being ahead of the game. I can't sit there and say it's a lack of focus or just it's been a combination of a lot of things. The discipline, the execution, a guy in a position to make a play doesn't make the play, and then obviously, and I'm not taking away from the plays that are being made against us. I'm really more focused on what can we do better, and there's a lot of things that we can do better. And the part is the simple stuff. Whether from a back end of having really good feet, when you're in press and it's all about eyes and feet and getting that position there, one play here or there, that would be the difference. And so we've done a great job, like you said. We have started fast. We've been trying to tell them that we have to prove that we can finish strong. Okay, it's in our program. We always talk about starting fast, and now we want to finish strong. Whether it's start fast on the play, finish strong on the play. Start fast, at the beginning of the game, and then finish strong. One play mentality. And like Coach Hype says all the time, have that 1-0 mentality. That one rep, you're trying to win. That one rep, and don't get ahead of yourself. I think sometimes we get ahead of ourselves as a team. Looking at the score or the situation and waiting for somebody else to make it happen. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. There's some inexperienced guys that are mixed with some of the experienced guys, that have got to grow up a little bit more and mature and feel comfortable in those moments. So it's not just one thing, but if they could just do simple better, if they can do their assignment better and execute it. And then when they do execute it and you're in position to make a play, and that's what we had a good practice today, and I think that's been the main event of today, and we had a really good practice, like I said, and saw the things that we're talking about right now.
Coach, what kind of learning experience has this been for the young corners, obviously, like Corey and Devontae and Justin, obviously facing a really good quarterback in Brady, but what do you hope they take away from, playing early this season?
Again, we all know, whether you're on the outside seeing a kid that's never played a game, as far as college, we see it from the inside where we're working with them each and every day. We don't treat them any different, than an older kid. We see the results, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in the conditioning program, whether it's in the classroom or the results from there, because it's everything. How he takes instructions, coaching, detailedness, and how he goes about doing it. You kind of have an idea how he's going to perform, okay? And like I said a little while ago, we have some guys, the younger players, without specifically saying one guy or the other, one that prepares really well, a lot better than maybe some of the other ones, and then gets out there and can't make a play. There's some that don't prepare as well and make plays. It's like, and you're trying to teach them how to go about the process. And it's obviously we're going to talk about effort. We're going to talk about attitude. We're going to talk about your job, your fundamentals, your technique. And then when you get that in line, then you got to learn how to play the scheme and that's where the experience comes in and the inexperience. If they know what to do, okay, after all the assignments, I'm talking about their fundamentals and technique. Now you got to execute it, when it's going fast, and then you take tempo offenses, that are going. Now the advantage that we have is that we go against the offense. That kind of gives us that. So we kind of eliminate that. Well, it can't be that because we do get it every day. So then you just got to perform and you got to execute and be productive, So it's like I just said a little while ago, the Matt is a combination of a lot of things, And when a young player, has a lot of that going on, and he's got to stay locked in. And we talk about being locked in, and at that moment, that play, that's the most important play where your 2 feet are at right now. Okay, as opposed to getting your head. You get guys that are inexperienced that get ahead of themselves or thinking about the next play or the next quarter, as opposed to, embracing the moments and what's happening to them and what the offense is doing, you know what I mean? Because they're going to come back to it at some point in time in the game. And so let's execute it when it does happen.
So improvements have you seen out of Tatum Bethune so far this season, now in his second year?
Did you say Tatum Bethune?
Yeah.
You know, we think Tatum has a lot of the skills that we want in a linebacker, you know what I mean? And he showed that right when he got here on a couple plays he made. He needs what we were just talking about, experience. You know, you can see that he's feeling a little bit more comfortable when he get the amount of reps, you know what I mean? He's got playmaking ability, as you saw in a couple of plays that he made in the game on Saturday. He has a big time desire to be really good. He wants to be coached. That's really good, and he's got the skill set for it. And so he embraces the coaching, and he can see that if he does the things that, you know, we're asking him to do, that you know, he can have success at doing it, you know. But he's getting a little bit more confident. You can see the more he played, the more he kind of made plays, you know. And obviously it wasn't perfect by any means. We weren't. But I can see his confidence getting better because he has playmaking ability.
Coach, you talk about do simple better. Is that the same message when it comes to eliminating the big plays? I think Memphis had 20-yard pass plays, 9 20-yard pass plays. Is that the same message for that aspect of the game as well?
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit there and pick on anybody here, okay? But you just said it, right? Okay, so you got explosive plays where guys are just wide open and they're not even you blew coverage, you know? That's not happening. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm saying there's guys in position on those big time plays, and give the offense credit. They made the play on the 50-50 ball. We're not making the plays on the 50-50 balls, okay? The defense is executed properly. Whether you could call the better play, you know, a better call. You know, we tell our kids there is no perfect call. If you want to play great defense, you know what I mean? And again, we've done that around here, you know what I mean, since we've been here. But it's not the call. It's going to be the player. It's going to be the intensity of that player and the process, the preparation, and putting himself in. They've been in position on those plays you're talking about, the 20 yards or more, and for different reasons. Whether it's didn't make the play, the other guy made the play, you know, or got a penalty, you know, or we give them another shot. You know, that's another thing that's happening to us in the games. Okay, and I know it's been talked about, is that we're giving the offense, who are very good, all these offenses that are fast tempo, we're giving them second chances. You know what I mean? 4th down, penalty, they got another shot, 1st down, you know, and you lose the momentum of those things. That's happening too, okay? And we got to be smarter. We got to be more disciplined, okay, in those situations of giving them the second chances when, you know, yes, we're not taking anything away from the offense, okay? You know, but you know, there's been a lot of help on our side of it too. I think we could play a lot better, a lot smarter, more disciplined. And obviously it starts with us as coaches, myself, you know, from the back end and then relaying that to the players.
Coach, has there been any discussion or thought at all about moving Randy Shannon from the box down to the field maybe?
No. Again, that's something you're going to have to ask Randy, you know, but there hasn't been anything.
Willie, I mean, we've seen the struggles defenses have had across the country in college football. You don't want to put blame on something like COVID, but is not having spring and the summer, has that kind of hampered a little bit, maybe some of the development in the defensive side of the football?
Yeah, you know, we really haven't looked at it that way. You know, the thing that we were, you know, the only thing I'll say about COVID is that, you know, the tough part about it is, you know, holding everybody accountable to stay healthy, you know, doing their part in what we call the so-called bubble, you know, which they've done a pretty good job about that, which we've had to adapt and adjust to. If somebody, you know, is, you know, tested positive or has to quarantine because he's a contact, you know, person, we lose 2 or 3 guys that don't allow us to practice a certain way, lose reps a certain way. You know what I mean? You have to adapt. But we look at it as it's just like a game, like, you know, a sudden change. You got to make some adjustments here. So we've kind of tried to spin it in a positive way. I'm not going to sit there and say, you know, that's for down the road. And we've been really focusing on, you know, about holding ourselves accountable to what I was talking about COVID, about making sure we're staying healthy, we're doing the right things so that we can practice, so that we can play. I'm not saying that that's not a distraction a little bit, you know, in their minds, because there's a lot of things they got to juggle with, and us as adults included. But you know, I mean, yeah, we've missed some tackles, but I don't, you know, we haven't missed a ton. I'm just saying that. I mean, you know, we just got to be more disciplined. You know what I mean? We just got to be more prepared from a standpoint of the pre-snap penalties or the post-snap penalties. Maybe so much more with us. There is some pre-snap penalties, you know what I mean, the offside or something like that. But within that, you know what I mean, we had a couple. Obviously, we had some pass interference calls or holding, whatever you might. You know, we can't have that. Whether it's right or wrong, whether we think it's not, it is, whatever it is, we don't let them get there, you know. So to answer that question, we haven't really kind of put it and said that, because if you do that, then you're kind of setting yourself up for excuses. And we don't want to do that as a coach to a player, you know what I mean, or a player to a player, coach to coach. You know, that's what makes this game so great, man, is that it's tough. You got to have discipline. You got to hold each other accountable, and so that we can pick each other up when things don't work out. It can't be a selfish deal. It's got to be a selfless act, both coach and player. And we just got to get on the right side of this. You know, we call it the +1. We just want to be +1 this week. We want to be +1 today. You know, we want to have a great practice, which I think we did, and focus in and get prepared for Saturday.
Coach, a little bit of different style offense as opposed to last week. This week coming up against Tulane. What are your expectations? What do you expect to see out of their offense?
First and foremost, I know, you know, Coach Fritz, I mean, his staff has been successful anywhere he's been. We know they're going to be well coached. We know that they're going to play they're going to play hard. They're going to play smart. They got some really good players. They'll run a little bit of option here and there. They've got the RPOs that stresses any kind of defense. So they're going to be a team. Obviously, they do very well at running the ball. #1 in our league. They do a good job, like I just told you, with the RPOs. You know, a well-coached, disciplined football team. You know, we had to go down the wire with them last week. Their losses, it could be really wins. You know, they're going to play. It's going to be a 4-quarter game again, and that's what this league is all about. Really good teams, and so it's going to be a challenge for us. You know, obviously we're playing a good football team.
Coach, in the preseason, I think it was Randy Shannon who talked about how guys are going to have to play or line up at different positions to, you know, be versatile, because you never know, you know, you might need to play at a certain spot. So in this game against Memphis, Aaron Robinson was moved out from nickel to boundary corner for a large portion of that game. What did you see out of Aaron as a boundary corner in this game? Because usually he's in that slot area.
Well, again, we're really a defense is about matchups. I think everybody across the board in America is like that, you know. So you're trying to match your best, you know, at times. If we can do it, that's what we tell about, you know, we've taught that on defense. You know, our corners can line up and play safety if that's what we want. Our nickels can line up in safety, and if that's what we want, because we teach it all in one scheme. We try and put the best. If we're playing 5 DBs, we're trying to put the best 5 out there, okay, that earned it, and not just be the backup nickel. You're the next guy that goes in because the nickel got hurt. No, we're gonna try and do what we think is best for us, and try and put our playmakers in a position to make plays for us. And that's what happened on Saturday. You know, we'll do it on every given week. We've prepared for that, you know, because again, the offenses are trying to scheme you. Okay, everything about football, as you know, is about matchups. You know what I mean? Is trying to match up personnel against certain personnel and based off of strengths and weaknesses. So we want to be able to have that option where they can't just zero in on players, and we also give them something to think about, that we will put guys where we think is going to be the best matchup for us.
Okay, thanks, Coach. We'll wrap up there. Thanks, everybody, for being on, and we'll be back tomorrow with Coach Tucker and Ryan O'Keefe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Stay
it.
healthy, guys.
You too.